Hi and welcome to another craft session with me, Bev. Today I wanted to show you how to make a wind chime for the garden. Now this is something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. I've been collecting silverware, stainless steel cutlery, and I want to use these to make a wind chime with. So the things that you'll need for this session is some cutlery. I'm going to suspend my cutlery from a stainless steel teapot. I'm thinking about taking the lid off of it, and then I can put some plants in the top here and have the cutlery hanging from the bottom. But you don't necessarily need this. You could suspend your cutlery from a branch or a silver plate or whatever you can get your hands on, really. Whatever you think's going to look good. You'll also need some wire then to suspend your cutlery from whatever you're going to suspend it from. In order to suspend your cutlery, you're going to need to be able to drill holes into it. So I have a drill here, and I've got some drill bits that will drill through metal. This technique that I'm going to show you today, I want to flatten my cutlery so that there's no curves or anything like that in it. So you're going to need a hammer as well for that, and an old dust sheet or old towel or something to sandwich your cutlery between so that you can hammer it, and there's no risk of anything sort of flying around in your face. You might also need some pliers as well for when you're attaching your wire. So I'm going to drill holes into my cutlery, and I'm also going to drill holes into the bottom of here. That will not only help with the drainage then when I want to put my plants in here, but it will also enable me to suspend my cutlery then from this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to flatten all my cutlery, and like I say, I'm going to use a hammer for that. So I'm going to sandwich the cutlery between some fabric. This is something that I'm going to do outside on the concrete floor. I don't think your wood floors in your houses or your tables will quite take this, and you might end up damaging your floor or your table. So safest bet, do it outside in a place that you don't mind being hit with a hammer. So that's what I'm going to do first, and then I'll come back to you and show you how I'm going to drill and affix to the teapot that I've got. Okay, so I have hammered flat all my cutlery now. Undoubtedly, some bits are going to be easier to hammer down than others. The cheaper cutlery usually flattens out a lot easier than some of the heavier sort of stuff. So this next bit is a little bit optional. I've got a table clamp here, and what I've done is clamp a piece of wood, and then also I've clamped my spoon to the piece of wood, and then I'm going to drill a hole through the end of the spoon then. The reason I've clamped the wood really is that you get a bit of grip then with your clamp, but also I've got something to go through on once the drill bit's gone through the end of the metal spoon. So I'm just going to go ahead now and set my drill up and start drilling my holes. So this drill bit that I've got is a 2.5mm drill bit. You can get smaller, you can get bigger, depending on what thickness your wire is. Obviously depends on how big you want your drill bit to be. Also, obviously, if you drill a bigger hole, then you're going to find it easier to thread your metal through. It's always a good idea to wear goggles when you're doing things like this, just in case any of the bits of metal come out. Also, one of the reasons why I've got this clamp is because this spoon may get quite hot now with me drilling through it. So if you don't have a clamp, make sure you've got a piece of fabric or something between your hand and the spoon so that you don't burn yourself. Okay, so a few broken drill bits later. Good job I bought a few. And lots of holes later. And we're ready to go and tie the wire onto them. So I've done a few here. I've just tied it into a loop. I don't know if you can see that. And then I've just left the length then. And then I can work out how long I want them to hang from my teapot. I've also drilled some holes into the bottom of my teapot. These holes are a bit larger than the other holes in the ends of the spoons. Just purely because I want some drainage in my teapot so that I can keep plants in here. So I'll just show you how I have wired my cutlery. Just get a length off here. So I'm just straightening it up a little bit. And then I'm simply just threading through the end, folding it over. I have a long bit and a short bit. And then just using my little jewellery pliers here just to twist it round then. I'm just twisting that round and just making it nice and secure. So I've got it nice and tight on here now then. So I'm just going to continue to do that with my other spoons and bits of cutlery. Now what you could do is to put beads on here and make it look pretty. I actually don't have any beads, but it could be an addition later on. You could make your own beads, I guess, if you're good at making Fimo beads or whatever, and then hang those to whatever you're going to hang them to. I did have some difficulty drilling holes into some of the thicker bits of cutlery that I had. Now you don't necessarily need to drill holes, I guess, in the ends of these, and I just wanted to show you how you might do it without drilling holes. So if you don't have a drill, then this could be an alternative way of you doing it. So again, I'm just going to cut off a length of the wire, and I'm just going to feed a bit through. I've got it through my fork, so I've got a longer bit and a shorter bit, and then I'm just going to simply weave it through the spools on the fork and then wrap that back up the handle then. I'll do a bit of a crisscross. And then tighten those up. So I've just wrapped it around the handle. And then that would hang like that then. So I might give this a go then and make one with without tools, like the power tools, and then one with the power tools, just to give you a bit of an idea of how you can do it. So I'm just going to carry on doing that, and then I'll get back to you and show you how to attach things then to your various different objects. Okay, so I've wired up all my cutlery now. I've got some that are just wrapped. I managed to do it with the spoons as well. I sort of wrapped it around the back and then here, and then it's supported. And then I've got my other ones that are just twisted into the holes. So with the teapot one, I'm just going to thread these up through the holes. Obviously this depends on what you're hanging your cutlery from. If you've got a plate that you've cut holes into, then you'll be threading the wire through those holes. And what you want to do is make sure that the bits of cutlery are going to touch each other when the wind blows. So I'm just going to carry on now and thread the rest of these through. And then when I've got everything threaded through, I'm going to twist the wire together inside the teapot so that the cutlery can't fall back out. Okay, so I've arranged my cutlery to the lengths that I want them to be. There was a few more than one for each hole, so some of the holes have got 2 bits of cutlery in, and they all sort of bang together nicely. And then inside, I've simply twisted all the wire together. It was a bit tricky, probably best wearing some gloves for that bit. And I've just twisted it together, and I'm just going to push that into the bottom. Now I'm going to pack this with soil and put some plants in it. So I've used some galvanised steel for this, just to help with the rusting. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It makes a good sound. And hopefully it'll look pretty once I've got the flowers in it. So now on to the other one. I've got a couple of sticks here that I thought I could wind together with some wire. So I'm just going to do that now. You don't have to use 2 sticks. I just decided that I thought it would look nice with 2. So there we go, I've fixed all the cutlery and it all bangs together quite nicely. Different bits of cutlery I've noticed makes different sounds, so there we go. And then what I'll do is just to fix a piece of rope or a piece of metal on here, and then we can hang it in the garden, can't we, Everly? Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed today's session, and we'll see you again next time. Take care.